Hi there. Okay, the next plugin that I want to talk about is one that has to do with editing and formatting your blog posts, and it's called WP Super Edit. And let me just go over to a post here, and we'll just add new, and I'll give you an indication of what I'm talking about here. Okay, in the basic WordPress theme, these are your options that you've got for editing your posts. It doesn't really give you a lot of options. It doesn't give you options, for example, to change the font type or the font size. It gives you some styles that you can do, so your headings, but otherwise, there's not a lot of options here. You can bold, italicize, underline. You can change the font color. Okay, so I wanted more options than that for when I was doing my blog posts. And so that's when I found WP Super Edit, and it gives you a lot more options. And so let's just show you here. So if we go over to Add New Plugins, and I'm going to search WP Super Edit, and I'm going to search. Okay, once again, first one that comes up, I'm going to install now. And I'm going to activate. Okay, now WP Super Edit does bring up a menu option under the settings menu. Okay, so I can come over here to WP Super Edit. Okay, and over here, okay, you actually have to install default settings and database tables. Okay, so you've got to do one more install here to actually put it on your blog. Okay, and then if you wanted to, you can actually uninstall the WP Super Edit database tables if you wanted to. Okay, but I like it. It works really well. Okay, so it brings you right up to the WP Super Edit options. Okay, I never change any of these. Okay, manage editor buttons using one editor setting for all users. I'm the only user of my blog, so that's just fine for me. You do have a couple of options, so it can be based on roles, it can be based on individual users. Okay, so it's got some flexibility there. Okay, but I don't change any of that. Okay, then I'm just going to work my way back over to the left here under Configure Editor Plugins. The ones that I like to use are the horizontal rule lines and I like to use the font tools. Okay, this is the one that adds the font family and font size. Okay, but you can see there's a lot more. Advanced image link, a more advanced dialog for the image link button. I haven't tried that one out yet. I find the standard image dialog box within WordPress, it does everything I needed to do, so I haven't had to mess with that one yet. Okay, and then the only other ones that I install is Tables plugin and the XHTML extras plugin. Okay, so just a few extras that you can have in there, and also you can use the Tables plugin. You can actually create a table in your blog. Okay, so I'm just going to click Update Options. Okay, but I mean, you can add on any of these. It doesn't really change anything. Okay, you can actually have add a print button. So it adds a print button to the editor if you want to be able to print out the edit area. Okay, search and replace plugin. So, lots of different things you can do. Okay, but the real meat of this plugin is over here under the Arrange Editor buttons. So I know this kind of looks a little ominous when you first come in here. And so what it is you've got your editor button row 1 and editor button row 2. And so right now, this is essentially the standard buttons that I just showed you in that post. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to say, okay, well, what other things do I want to have in here as a standard? Okay, so one of the things I picked was the horizontal rule lines. So I'm going to put that in here on button row 3. The font select, I'm going to add that one in. The font size select, I want to add that one in. Subscript and superscript and tables and table controls. Okay, and that's all I'm going to add in. Okay, and then once you've and then the other thing you can do is you can move these buttons around. So if you don't like where they are, once you get into the editor and you find, okay, well I want to have all my commonly used buttons on editor row 1. I want to have them all on editor row 3. Okay, well you can move the buttons around anywhere you want. Okay, so if I want to move this down here, I can move it down there. Move it back up here, say it's undo. Okay, well I want to have that right at the start. Okay, so very flexible. You can do whatever you want in here. Set it up the way you want it. Okay, this is the way I want it, not necessarily the way you want it. Maybe you want to have a few more things in there. So I'm just going to go update button settings, and we'll just wait a minute while that updates. Hopefully it won't take too long. And then what I want to do is go back over to a post, and I'll show you what that's actually done to the editor. Okay, so that's updated now. So now let's go over to a post. We'll just click on add new since I didn't save that last post. And you see here, okay, here's now my third row of buttons in here. So now it's got the horizontal lines I can add. I can choose the fonts. I can choose the font sizes. I can add tables. It's got the table controls, the indent row, the delete row. So this is all the table controls here. Okay, and like I said before, I can move any of these buttons around by simply going back over to WP Super Edit and then arrange it the way that I like it. Okay, so that's WP Super Edit. It's kind of not necessarily an essential plugin, but it's something that I think you'll really enjoy using. Gives you a little more flexibility when editing your posts. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you in the next video.